everyone. I hope you enjoyed that little intro. My name is Nim. I run a photography and videography business here in San Diego. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a minute. I've been sitting on this idea for a while, so here we are, early in the morning. I think it's time. I just wanted to come out here and share my process of goal setting. I want to talk about how tremendously it's helped me professionally and personally. If you stick around, I promise by the end of this video, you'll have a solid framework of how you can have a meaningful, impactful goals for yourself as well. Before we start, I hope you have a paper and pen, crayons, whatever you can write with, because you're gonna need it. I just want to introduce you to something I call the centered square. So what you'll do is you'll draw out a square, and then you divide that square into 4 quadrants, right? Imagine there's an imaginary circle right here. Keep that in mind. I'll try to explain that later on. First quadrant is going to be spiritual. And on the second quadrant, you're gonna write career. Third one, relationships. Lastly, self. You have to be well-rounded in different aspects of life. And I believe with these 4 categories, it's like the most common ones and the most important ones that I believe. As we go on, you'll have certain goals for each of these categories. That imaginary circle, that's you. Just imagine it moves around, right? So if you're spending way too much time on your self goals, then the other 3 quadrants are gonna suffer. See how that works? If you're spending too much time working, your relationships, yourself, your spiritual journey, that's all gonna suffer. That's why when you try to look at the centered square, you wanna try to make sure that circle is somewhere in the middle. That way everything is perfectly balanced. And I suggest you leave this drawing somewhere where you see it every single day. That way you're reminded. You see your goals every day and it just keeps you motivated. It reminds you your purpose of what you're trying to achieve. This framework that I'm about to show you guys, it's how I was able to accomplish a lot of things. How I was able to manage going to nursing school, working, running a business, and being present at home at the same time. It wasn't perfect, but at least I was able to kind of focus in on, oh, like this section of my life is suffering. So like, let me kind of focus on that for a little bit, just to make sure that circle is in the center, you know what I mean? Like I said, this helped me in my personal and professional growth. So let's get started. Step 1 is brainstorm. You're gonna spend about 1 minute each on each category. Within those 1 minute, you're just gonna jot down as many goals as you can as possible. Towards the end, we're gonna try to break it down and fine tune which goals really matter to you. So the first one is your spiritual journey. Go ahead and start jotting it down. This is about aligning with your values, faith, and your inner purpose. And if you don't know, that's okay. This will help you find your purpose. An example of a goal I would make is to practice daily gratitude, whether that's making a list every single day or just, saying it internally what I'm grateful for. Just being thankful for the little things, it goes a long way. Do you want to meditate more? Do you want to spend more time reading a spiritual text, like the Bible or whatever? Do you want to go back to attending church? Do you want to surround yourself with people that share more of the same beliefs, same faith? No matter how big or small your goal is, just jot it down. My tip is start with the little goals. This will help with being consistent and get you to start building those good habits. What I do is I like to make like a checkbox. There's just something about checking those boxes that just makes you feel good and keeps you motivated and just keeps you going. So the second one is career. Everyone has to have it. Everybody has to work. Whether you love it or not, you have to have one. If not, you gotta get one. That should be one of your main goals. Also, you only have one life, Why not just work the job that you've been wanting to do? Like if you're not happy with your job, then ask yourself, what is it that you want to do? Is there a specific amount of money that you want to make? Is there a specific amount that you want saved? If you're in school, do you plan on graduating this year? Do you plan on finishing with a certain GPA or, finally getting that certificate that you've been pushing off? This is generally where everybody, has a bunch of lists because everybody wants to make that money, but just remember, money doesn't buy you happiness. The best things in life are free. So keep that in mind. Next is the relationships. In this section, reflect on your current relationships and self. and see how you can be better with these relationships. The purpose is to see how you can strengthen connections with family, friends, and your community. So is there something that you want to change about yourself? Is there anyone that you would like to see more often? Is there anyone that you want to forgive or reconcile with? Do you plan on being more present during conversations and reaching out to old friends, scheduling monthly meetups, weekly meetups, whatever? Focus on what can you do to make these relationships better. Now here's a tip. Remember, you cannot change people, but you can change how you react towards them. Last but not least, self. This is last because I believe that we are meant to serve, not to be served, but it's also good to treat yourself. So for this one, go crazy. Be as selfish as you want. The question that I would ask is, whether that's focusing on your health. Do you want to start working out again, being active? Do you want to change a certain part about your diet? Do you want to read a certain amount of books? Do you want to pick up a new hobby and stick with it? You do want to finally do that thing that you've been thinking about, but you're too scared to do. Choose something that excites you and rejuvenates you. Whatever it is. If it's materialistic, write that down. Remember, this is all about self-love. You gotta take care of yourself. Remember, you cannot fill other people's cups if your cup is empty. So. All right, so now step 2. Now I want you to go back into that list right next to it. Write down how long you want to achieve these goals, whether that's a week, a few months, a year, years, whatever. But be realistic, be honest, and be specific. That's key. Step 3 is rewrite. So this is like the final version. I typically cut my own goals to like 5 or 8 just because that's what works for me. That's what works for my family. And I realized with that amount of goals in each category, that'll keep me busy for the whole entire year. So I usually organize it to what I can accomplish sooner. And then the later ones, I put those at the bottom. It's getting cold out here. So that's step 3. And step 4, share. Share this with your friends, your family, with your community, whoever, just share it. It's a great tool to keep you accountable and keep you going, especially on days that you don't feel motivated, because you're not gonna feel motivated all the time. That's completely normal. If you fall off and you don't do it for a day, just wake up the next day and just start over. Complaining and crying about it doesn't solve anything, so I suggest just pick back up where you left off. I encourage you to at least start with one goal today, whatever section. Even if it's 30 to 60 minutes a day, just know that those little bit of time, it adds up in the end and it goes a long way. If you can share one goal in the comment section, I'd love to hear about it. So here's to making this year intentional and impactful. I hope that the blessings come your way, and I hope this helps in your personal and professional growth. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Oh yeah, and don't forget to subscribe. Peace.